Second to get caught up and set up here, and then we will get going and get to your questions tonight. No, don't do yet. Let's see. All right. Okay, so tonight is our live rapid fire, which means I'm only answering the questions. If you are new, just so you're aware, Sundays I go live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is typically about a 2 to 2.5 hour live show, and we all talk, we all communicate, we all hang out. It's a community setting, and I read all questions, comments, answers. We do a lot of fun stuff on there. Tonight is only for questions. If you watch this recorded, like after I post it, then you are more than welcome to ask the question as soon as I post the live that's coming up, like it'll say upcoming. You can always post the question then. I'll answer it at the very beginning of the show, and then you're not trying to find out where I put it. I did have some announcements last night. So if you would like the announcements that we have, it's the first about 10 minutes of our live from last night. And I appreciate all of you that are here. I won't be reading all the comments, just the questions tonight. But I do appreciate all you being here. If you have questions, feel free to ask. And there was something else that I was supposed to say. Oh, right. And if you do have any questions, if you could put a bunch of exclamation points or a bunch of question marks at the end of the question so I can see it better, I would greatly appreciate it. But I think that is all I'm going to bore you with tonight. So let's get started. Al Diaz is in the house. Good evening, Zach, to you and your viewers. Could you elaborate on the role of light and darkness, not only on young growing quails, but of embryos growing inside the eggs? We do both. I mean, our GQF doesn't have a light in it, and the incubator that we bought, or the incubator that we made, always has a light inside, and there's no difference there at all. And the light for grow outs is not really a big deal. You don't really need to worry about light until they're laying eggs, and that will get them more productive. Don't embryos like not only the warmth of the parents sitting on them, but also the darkness that comes with that? No, there's no difference. Also, have you read that red infrared light helps develop stronger joints, bones, and chicks? No, I've not seen that. We've done a couple of experiments. We're doing that now. I mean, the 250-watt bulb, they're going to like more because they're very heat dependent, but I have not seen anything where it helps with that. But we're doing another experiment and keeping better records this time. But not that I know of right now. Again, welcome everybody. Glad you're all here. Frank Kimball says, can you tell us why quail is the new chicken? Well, first and foremost, it's their turnaround time. So, you know, you raise a chicken for months and months and months and months, and then you start getting eggs. With quail, you can have multiple hatches by the time they even start laying eggs with chickens. So the really fast turnaround time is huge. The very small space, you know, very confined space is huge. I would say those two are big reasons why quail is the new chicken. No one needs a big yard or a bunch of land to raise quail and have meat and eggs. With chickens, it's a little bit different. You need the space. You need, you know, not very close neighbors if you're going to have roosters and things like that. And a lot of areas don't allow chickens, and if they do allow chickens, they don't allow roosters. So quail is kind of under the radar for the most part. I have a marketing question. I've checked Craigslist in my area, and there are not many ads for quail. Could that mean it's an untapped market or a market that won't buy quail? I don't believe that there is a market that won't buy quail. I believe that there is markets that don't know the benefits of quail, and they don't know why they need them. Look, I hear marketing and advertisement, and those are important, and I'm not disagreeing with that at all. But my mindset is, if you educate, the sales will come. If you explain it and show how easy it is, and show how little space you need, and show how fast you can grow, and this, that, and the other, how healthy they are, that's going to attract more people than a huge marketing campaign or spending a bunch of money in ads or things like that. I've got a hair. I had a phone call. Can't find it. So that's my thought on it. But no, I would say that your market is just not educated in quail, which is what you would want to do. Frank says, how many different sources can you get from a quail? How many different resources can you get from a quail? How many different resources can you get from a quail? I don't think I understand the question. Like, I mean, meat and eggs. But I mean, you can have raw dog food, you can have balutes and butchered quail and hatching eggs and eating eggs. I don't know if you mean selling or if you mean consumption, because if it's consumption, it's meat and eggs is pretty much what it is. But there's many different ways that you can sell quail. I need you to reword that one. Mint and Marigold Homesteads in the house. My first hatch produced 4 roos and 1 hen. Each roo is in his own cage because of fighting. It'll be a while before I have more hens ready. 4 weeks. Will they be okay solo for another month? They would be. Yeah, that would be fine. If it was me, I would probably do a 5-to-1 ratio, put the males back in it, and keep the hens together. But yeah, either way is fine. Andrew Perry says, hello, last night I thought you mentioned Scarlet Fee. I couldn't find the spot on the video today. Did I miss the announcement of a new color? No, I do have Scarlet Fees. They are not on the website yet. They will be coming. I'm using those right now to get orders out. But we actually will have 2. Yeah. So we have 2 brand new colors that we'll be introducing as soon as I get to it on the website, and then a new option. So it's a mixture of colors. It's just another option, but 2 brand new colors. One is the Scarlet Fee, and the other one I've actually been closed-lipped on, I'm very proud to say. And so no one or very few people know what that is. So I'm very excited about it. But if you were at Quail Con last year, I showed you the research of it. They are ready to go. We've got a full cage and they are laying amazing. And so that will be coming soon as well. Where is it? Got it. Woo! Nope, didn't get it. Maybe it's on my face. I don't know. All right, I'm sorry. Not talking to me. Again, welcome everybody that's here. On Monday nights, I don't read all the comments, just the questions, but I am very happy that you're here. I definitely have some guilt issues with not reading everybody and welcoming everybody individually, but I gotta get over it. Brian says, how soon should I introduce new genes to a breeding flock? That is a good question, and to be honest with you, the least amount is 3 generations. It's safe to say 3 generations, add some new blood, either some new males or some new eggs or new colors or whatever the case may be, and then keep it going. But it could go a little bit longer than that. You know, if you're raising meat and eggs for yourself, then ideally you're hatching out like once a year to replace your breeders. Well, if that's the case, then literally you go 3 years without introducing anything and you're good to go. If you're breeding constantly and trying to sell the chicks or whatever, then typically about 3 generations is when you will need to do it, which still would take quite some time because you can put generation to generation 3 different times. So that still takes quite some time. Mint Marigold says, thanks. Oh, not talking to me. Richie says, at what age can you safely put chicks on 1/2 by 1/2 inch wire? 1 week old. You can put them on 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch at 1 week. You can put them on 1 inch by 1/2 inch at about 3 weeks old, preferably 4, but 3 would do. But after 1 week, they can completely go on that. That's what we do here. Borg Vader says, hello friends, how's everyone tonight? You got me with the question mark. Welcome, we're glad you're here. Debbie at She Shed Homestead donated $5 to Quail Con. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Any donations, which the donation button is in the comment section. It's a little $sign. It's a super sticker, super chat. If you donate to the channel, all of that is going towards Quail Con, which is September 3rd and 4th, and we are going to put on an amazing event for everybody. So thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it. And don't forget to hit the like button. I would appreciate that as well. And that's free if you want to do that. Did you have a successful hatch rate? I do. Maybe you're talking to somebody else. Jennifer says, we are having a horrible time maintaining humidity in incubator. Hubby is up every 2 hours all night. How bad will this affect our hatch rate? Humidity is not the end of the world when it comes to the incubation process. So, you know, you can still have a really good hatch if it's 30% during the incubation process, not during lockdown. It's not as important. It's nice to get it up there, but it's not as important. At lockdown, humidity becomes very, very important. So if you're in lockdown, a couple things that you can do is put a like a tub or a bowl, you know, Tupperware bowl in the incubator itself, fill it up with water and put a sponge or a rag in there. That will increase your humidity dramatically. And then you can also insulate the outside of the incubator with a towel or a blanket, and that should be able to stabilize it as well, would be a couple of tips. Thumbs up number 24. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We're at 51. That's not bad. Thank you very much for all your support. My incubator runs 3 or 4 under or over the Govee. Says, will that affect my hatch? My incubator runs 0.3 or 4 under or over the Govee. If it's 0.3 or 0.4, then no. Well, no matter what, as long as the Govee is reading correctly, I would trust the Govee a whole lot more than I would trust the incubator. So just go by that. So if the Govee says 99, take it up a half a degree. If the Govee says 100, take it down a half a degree. But I would trust the Govee and not the incubator. Everyone that we've tested so far, the incubator has not read correctly at all. Ban Garcia 7 says, when will you do the video on your Gigantor incubator? It's on the list, so we've got, we actually worked that out today. We've got 2 weeks left in the main barn to finish what we're doing in there, and then 2 weeks in the brooder room with the big project we started in there. So I've got 3 massive projects going on right now. But I'll be doing mine separately in between those 2. Well, I have to have it done by March 27th is my big project, mine big project. George and I are working on the cages in the main barn. We will be finished in 2 weeks. And then we've got a big project we're working together on in the brooder room, which will take an additional 2 weeks, so 4 weeks. And then I'll probably take a week off of doing major projects plus the everyday things, and then we'll start on Gigantor. And we have to finish that because Jenna's already giving me a to-do list on stuff outside, so that'll be fun. What the Quail Farm says, what would consider the most important thing you do for someone just starting their quail journey? Let me read that again. I butchered it. What would you consider the most important thing you can do for someone just starting their quail journey? Resources and community. You need to build their confidence. I think confidence goes a long way. and you need to give them as much information as possible, much education as possible, and let them know where they can reach out to if they have questions or want to see how other people are doing it. Facebook, YouTube, different resources like that. I think that would be. I think that's best for everybody. And if they choose not to use it, then that's fine. But at least they know where they can go to get answers. Would be my answer to that. Again, welcome everybody that's here. I'm only reading the questions tonight. I really do feel bad about it, but it's supposed to be a rapid fire fast. So that's what I'm trying to go with. Timothy is in the house. How do you calibrate the Govee? It says in the instructions, and I'm pretty sure you do it by your phone. I don't know. I've only done it once and I can't remember, but it is in the instructions, which I didn't know until someone told me, and then we looked at it and they were like, oh, okay, let's do that. Yeah, it's in the instructions, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But you have to usually, well, you don't have to use your phone. There's other ways to. It'll explain all that in the instructions of it. Glenwell says, can quail eat black oil sunflower seeds? If so, do you crack the seeds first? I know of some people that do use those. I don't know what they do or what the process is. I have never done it, so I have no experience with it, but I do know that they can. I just don't know what the process is behind it. I would assume you would probably crack them open, but I don't know that for sure. I did not ask that question, unfortunately. It's a good question. Yeah, hold please. Minkul, I hope I said that correctly. Hey, I just ordered 25 mixed eggs. How can I see when they will arrive? Well, if you just ordered, and I'm assuming you ordered a color, then it's probably about 2 weeks once you ordered. So about 2 weeks from the day that you ordered is where I'm at right now. Muji says, color question, 3 chicks are different than the other dozen. 2 are browner, 1 is very light brown, almost sandy. Thought of their color. I would need a lot more information. It sounds as though that you've got 2 wilds and an Egyptian. I would need to know what they came from, preferably what they look like, but the dark brown chicks are usually wilds, and the light brown, almost sandy, sounds like it's a roux, so it could be an Egyptian fee. I would have to know more, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Would you consider having children raising quail a good learning experience? Yeah, I mean, that's a big reason why we started the 18 under contest, and why we push it so much is because I do think that quail are great for most ages. I mean, I know of a lot of 6, 7, 8-year-olds that are raising their own quail. They're, selling their own eggs. They're paying for their own feed, and at any age they can get involved, whether that's collecting the eggs or that's making sure they have water or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I think it's a great experience. What's a good name for my little girl's quail adventure? That is a good question. I'm actually going to do a video on what's in a name for starting the a quail farm, or a name to do that. But something personal, but yet something catchy. If I had to do it all over again, I don't know. I mean, it worked out for us, Myshire farm, but doesn't really say anything about quail. But it was personal to us, and yeah, I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do the video yet, so I don't really have a good answer for that. Little Ridge Farm says, I've sent plenty of your quail colors, but I haven't seen any all black. Do you have all black? Do you have black quail at all? So there's 2 different ways to get black. You can use the growl fee to get black, or you can have the black gene. We do not have the black gene. That was illegally imported here, was not tested, so we will not have that on the farm ever. And the gene is not in the US except for the illegal import. So we won't have that. And a lot of people are calling black quail growl fees. They're just renaming it. So you can put it to Tibetan with a Graufi, and that will give you a very dark Graufi, which will almost look black. I didn't do that. I wanted to have a little bit more pattern to it, so I put my Graufis with rosettas. So mine are very dark, but they also have that rosetta pop to it, if you will. Can you sell quail feathers for crafts or what? Can you sell quail feathers for crafts or profit? Yeah, absolutely. I know some people that do. We don't. But yeah, I've had multiple people throughout the years contact me and make cool stuff, and blown out quail eggs and quail feathers that they dehydrate or whatever and make into earrings or a necklace. Or there was a really cool one where they took they put like a little nest together and had all kinds of different feathers all the way around it for decoration. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. G. Rubin says, hi, Zach from Southern California. Have you ever heard of someone getting salmonella from eating quail? No, I have not. Jaybird, I see your question here that says I was asking in regards to selling both quail and or eggs. Thanks. But your first question was retracted, so I don't know what you had asked, unfortunately. If you could ask that again, and I will do my best to answer. What can expect when I put my quail outside? They'll probably stop laying for about a week or two. It depends on when you're putting them out there. If you're putting them out there at 4 weeks old, then nothing. Preferably, you give them supplemental light at about 6 to 7 weeks old, about 16 hours a day. If you don't, then they'll be a little inconsistent until mid-spring as far as egg laying goes. But yeah, there's not much difference between inside and outside quail at all, except for where they lay. Susan says, question, when butchering quail, do you have to pull the croup like chickens, and how long do you do off feed before calling? So we stop feeding them 12 hours before we butcher. You can go longer than that. I just kind of feel guilty, so I don't do that. But we do 12. A lot of people do 24, which is fine. There was another question, and no, there. Why can I not remember right now? I'll get back to you in just a second because it just complete. I had it and I was about to speak, and then I don't even know. I'll get back to you in just a second. Mondays are really rough for me. Long Mondays. When saving skulls, what's the best way to remove the meat? I've never done it, so I don't know. I've never saved a skull. Yeah, I think I know, but I've never done it, and I don't have the experience with it, so I don't know. I'd rather not answer that. But if somebody has, then feel free to let them know. That was what's Quail Farm. Let's see. Genuine Toe Tag says, how long does it take to make a jumbo with selective breeding without using a jumbo male? Oof. And if I use a jumbo male, how do you or how long to make the line 100% again? Well, that all varies on a lot of different factors, like a ton. Like, it's just not breeding. It's excessive calling, it's the feed you use, it's the environment you have. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. By not using a jumbo male, long time. 5 or 6 generations. With using a jumbo male, you'll start seeing improvements in about 2 generations, and then 3 and 4th generation will work pretty well for you. usually they stay pretty consistent if you're using biggest to biggest, but not using a male, that'll take a long time. For what you all can get out of quail for sales, do you think they are? It's like bubblegum shrimp. I mean, you can do anything with quail. I mean, there's balutes, and there's hatching eggs, and there's eating eggs, and there's meat, and there's, you know, live quail, and there's chicks, and there's falconry food, and there's raw dog food, and there's, I mean, endless dog training, dog hunting. Yeah, I mean, anything you can think of, you can pretty much, anything you can do with a chicken, you can do with a quail, and more, to be honest. Go Big is in the house. I have a group of fab fees from Myshire, and I'm getting a double yoker almost every day. Is this common for your girls? The fab fees, no, not at all. It's more likely a double yoker from the wilds. Uh, uh, Fab fees. Yeah, there they are. No, that is kind of weird. Kind of weird. Um, Iron Man Concrete Pumping says, I have 3 Govee thermometers. They all rate a degree off. If I average them all, should that be a safe range? Yeah, but when you're incubating, when your incubation is done, I would check the fan, because that usually means that it is a circulation issue. But yeah, I'd average it out for sure right now. I just saw your video about medicated feed last night. Not sure what I got right now, but jumbo hatching in a day or two. If it's medicated, I assume no egg eating until I get them off of it. Yeah, and once you do get it off, if it's not the natural medication, you're supposed to wait 2 weeks before you start eating the eggs. Once they're off of it. Let's see, in Zone 5B, had quail and hutch inside unheated greenhouse. Most died over winter. Seller said quail are prone to disease. Stopped eating and drinking before dying. Should I invest in antibiotics for the future? I don't agree with that at all. Quail and hutch inside unheated greenhouse. No. If they were in a hutch, then there was something else going on. I've heard of twice. And luckily, I've heard of twice from people that quail have gotten sick, and that was, last time I heard that was, gosh, 2016, and that was just one flock, or one covey, and that was due to chickens being next to them. But no, I don't agree with that. Zach, did you get permission to film the quail poop energy plant yet? Nope, I have not. We actually just emptied the poop Wednesday last week, and I had the driver call, because he's supposed to call before he comes, and give him an ETA. And then I said, hey, what about if I just come and we can talk? And they're like, no, not right now. I was like, okay, here's my number. So I just email them once every 2 weeks. I just copy and paste the same email. Eventually, they'll just get tired of me and be like, fine, come. I'll be like, okay, thanks. Bethany Reed says, what larger incubator do you recommend? Currently using the Nurturite 360, looking to upgrade in the near future. If you want a nice incubator, I mean, I will never not recommend the GQF. I love the GQF. They're cabinet incubators. They hold a lot of eggs, and they are fantastic. If you're going one step up, I've heard that the Huvibator Genesis is really, really good. I do not recommend still air. Some people have good success with it. I don't prefer it. So I would get forced air. And I was pleasantly surprised with the Little Giant. The Little Giant will hold 120 quail eggs. And I did a incubator review on the Little Giant not too long ago, and that is under a playlist called Quail Supply Reviews. So you can check that out, or you can go to the YouTube search bar and just type in Little Giant by Myshire, and that video will pop up and you can kind of look at that. That's pretty affordable, but still increases your egg count to 120. I was pretty surprised with it. She Shed Homestead says, "Hi, Zach. Thank you so much for the 50% hatch rate guarantee. We'll be ordering some SSCs on Wednesday. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And yeah, Wednesday I'll be putting a lot of stuff back on the website. No jumbos, not putting any jumbos on the website, but a lot of colors. So I'm excited about that. Go Big says, how are your Celadons doing? I'll be doing another test batch for our Egyptian Celadons. Hopefully they will be good. I haven't really done anything with them for the past month. I got them out of the brooder room. They're laying, and I'm using them for mixed eggs right now because my entire brooder room is full with jumbo eggs or jumbo chicks that we hatched out. So I don't have any room to hatch any out. But we're moving the jumbo chicks, half the room out. Oh, I guess it's still 2 weeks. Yeah, so I won't be putting any Celadons in for another month. So really the past month and the next month, I haven't done anything with them, to be honest. I'm using them for mixed orders. Our quail quit laying eggs about a week ago, went from 20 eggs a day to 0. Any ideas? It could be a lot of things. Make sure that you didn't change their feed. If you did change their feed, if you changed their environment, if you switched quail around in any sort, they'll stop laying for about 2 weeks. Make sure they're getting 16 hours of light a day, and make sure that they didn't see any predator attacks or possible predator attacks. Those are usually the main reasons why they stop laying. But I actually have a video coming out this week that will give you even more information on it, and it is called Maximum Production. So it will give you tips, tricks, and best practices to get the best production out of your quail, and if they stop laying, a couple reasons and ideas why. So that video is coming out this week. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for notifications, because I've got 3, possibly 4, maybe even 5 really good videos coming out this week. I don't know why I'm turned so much. There we go. What the Quail Farm says, if my local feed supplier runs out of quail food, is it okay to use chicken food for emergency? Yep. That wouldn't be a horrible idea. Tara says, hi and good evening. At what age can you start giving mealworms, and should it be a gradual thing? Not too much at first. I think everything should be moderation, but we don't give them anything until they're at least 4 weeks old. I'm sure you can do it sooner, but we don't do anything until they're 4 weeks old. So that would be my recommendation. Jose Javier says, dude, you're nonstop good content. Thank you very much. How long does pipping to hatch usually take? I've been staring obsessively for 10 hours. If they pipped and they still haven't hatched after 10 hours, you need to increase your humidity. Go ahead and increase your humidity between 5 and 7%, and they should start popping like popcorn. It's a lot harder to say than what you would think. Try it with me. They should start. I can't even remember what I was going to say. Never mind. You say it without me. Are we lagging? Oh, I hope not. Not on mine. Oh, there is one. Crystal says, calibration instructions on the Govee, not with all Govees. Okay, go into settings and scroll down page. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Kelly Ford says, I ordered my Quail Con ticket a few days after you offered for sale. Have you sent any out yet, or will they come out later? There's no actual ticket, so we will, once a month, I'm going to text everybody that has tickets, give them an update on some things, give them some new information, and let them know that that's my number, and if they have any questions, they can reach out. And then once I actually text you on that, for that specific purpose, then I'll actually go in there and I will complete the order, which means it will send you a receipt saying your order is complete. If you want a paper copy, you can print that out, but we'll have all your information here at Quail Con. I got my first quail eggs from you. I have 10 days left before lockdown, and I'm at a 55% humidity and 99.5%. Is that good? You're 10 days left before lockdown. I'd decrease that humidity 10%, if not 15. Yeah, I'd decrease that humidity 10 to 15%. You're right on the verge of starting to get them to drown. So yeah, back off of that humidity a little bit. Are quail feathers utilized for anything? Arts and crafts. I think that's about it, but I could be wrong. Those were my thoughts as well. Their siblings are Fab Fee. If the lightest is Egyptian Fee, I may need more. It's so cute. If they were Fab Fee, Pharaoh would make sense. So the dark brown would be Pharaoh, and most likely an Egyptian Fee. Can you taste the difference between hens and roosters when cooking? No. Nope. Cody says, do jumbo or standard quail have a higher feed to weight conversion, or is it about the same? That is a great question, and I'm not answering it. You know why? Because guess what's coming out tomorrow? Quail math for eggs. I'm very excited about it. It is a long video. It is very... I made it as simple as possible, guys. I really did, I swear. And what I did do is I answered how much does an adult quail eat per day? If you have 20 quail and a 50-pound bag of feed, how many days will that last you? And I answered how much does an egg cost? And there are two different answers, I can tell you that. There's one for standards and there's one for jumbos. They are two different answers. So that quail, or that video finally got done. I was really dreading it, but I also needed the numbers for end of the year numbers, which I still haven't finished. So I had to do it anyway. But the video is done. That is coming out. And then I'll be doing the maximum production video. I'll be doing the story time. I'll be doing a quick video this week about something that somebody sent me in the mail, and it's pretty cool. And I have a coupon code for that. And hopefully I'll get to the bees. But we ran into some problems today, so the bees might have to wait. Hopefully not. Hopefully we fix the issue and tomorrow we can just get caught up. I hope. Leanne Powell is in the house. What is the best feeder style for new hatched chicks? We use kind of like a rabbit feeder, kind of. Honestly, the best thing to use is, you know, the ones that you buy at Tractor Supply, where you put the feed in and put the lid on it. Those work really well. There's no reason not to use those. If you haven't made a feeder or anything like that, those work great. Tractor Supply, Amazon, Rural King, they all have them. G. Rubin, and they're just chick poultry feeders and waters. G. Rubin says, well, folks, if you were very unlikely to get salmonella from quail, that sounds like a fantastic reason for quail. That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great point. Absolutely. Is 101.5 too high? Yes. Yes, it is. You are right at that. So the way that I look at it is you've got green zones, you've got yellow zones, and you've got red zones, right? Well, the green zone is 99 to 100. If it's between 99 and 100, you're good to go. If it's 98.5 to 100.5, you're in that yellow. Anything over that, you're in the red zone, and you're potentially hurting. It's potentially hurting the hatch rate. So yeah, 101.5 is too high. What's the pros and cons of taking them off feed before processing? It's just less messy. To be honest, that's pretty much it. It's less messy. That's pretty much it. What the Quail Farm says, Zach, when are you going to try Blue? Never. I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen. But thank you. Do you need to use electrolytes? And when? You do not need to. I give them Save a Chick electrolytes in the water once a month, and I don't see any difference because there's been months where we've skipped, like you know, they've been out and they haven't shipped it to me because I have a outstanding order that comes once a month. Once it comes in, we just put it in and be done with it. I don't see any productive value in doing it, but it makes me feel like I'm giving them something, giving them some extra vitamins, and I do it once a month. So you can take it or leave it. I'm sure I'm wasting my money, but it's really not that much. So, Beam Farm says, I want to see a tour of your setup quail barn. We've got many videos. In fact, I think we have a playlist called Tour of the Quail Barn, and we show you many different aspects of that. So yeah, check that playlist out. Witch Doctor says, I saw someone advertising Goliath egg. I'm sure this is just crafty marketing for jumbos. What are your thoughts? Yeah, it is. This is technically, starting tomorrow is technically the busy season. It just started way earlier this year. But on average, the busy season usually starts tomorrow. Now, with that being said, you are going to see some stuff out there that you've not seen before, and that is because they come around every year. You know, Goliath quail, giant quail, I don't even know. I was thinking about it today when I was working. And yeah, it's okay to ask questions. So, you know, if you've never heard of it before, then feel free to try to get more information from it. And if you purchase Coturnix quail, really if you purchase anything, but if you purchase Coturnix quail, and let's say you want to purchase from me, but I'm just out of stock, sure, and you're not willing to wait. No hard feelings, I get it, it's fine. You want to go through someone else, not a big deal. Just verify the company first. And what I mean by that is check out their reviews. If they have 0 reviews, then either don't go with them or ask them, hey, why don't you have any reviews? Oh, I literally just started. Oh, okay. All right, cool. How long have you been in business? 3 years. Why don't you have any reviews? So, I mean, just, you know, and make sure that there's some sort of biosecurity system in place. It really stresses me out that I'm hearing, you know, picked up at the farm, or I took them to, a swap meet. And that, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just with the avian influenza outbreak in the U.S., that stresses me out beyond belief. But again, I'm probably over stressing about it as well. Again, everybody that's here, welcome. We're very happy that you're here. Tonight is only questions. Sundays, we all hang out. I read every comment. So if I'm skipping your name just because it's not a question, no hard feelings. I'm very appreciative that you're here. Thank you very much. But I'm supposed to be going as quickly as possible, and I'm still not. So I'm going to pick up the pace. Do you know if I can feed cooked quail eggs back to the quail? Yes, we answered that last week. We had a ton of people that do it and are fine with it. So yeah, do it. ARG Breezy Peasy says, have several of my 96 eggs in lockdown pipping on day 16. The only thing is humidity is right around 75%. Is that okay, or should I somehow lower it? No, you'll be fine. Keep it the way it is, and you're right on track. Is there a specific time of year for molting? No, it really does vary on the majorly on the environment and the feed. Majorly. So no, it varies tremendously. First of all, put in slow cooker, salty water, 8 hours low should be good. There you go. Thank you very much, Susan, for that answer. Quail came from seller that raised quail, chicken, ducks together. That might explain it. Thanks. Okay, and again, I mean, yes. So quail are more susceptible to getting diseases than chickens and ducks. They have a higher immune system. So for example, if you have chickens and ducks with quail, well, those quail are going to get what the chickens and the ducks have, and they're gone. which is why you don't want to put them together. They can be close, but you don't want them together. So that would make sense. But as far as like they're more susceptible, it's a hard thing. Your Maggie has a question. Sorry, back to the questions. There you go. I don't know where Maggie is. I think she was outside yelling at the kids for being too loud. It is her nap time, and she was getting grumpy. Welcome everybody. Glad you're all here. A lot of people here. Gregory says, how far should quail be away from chickens? I don't know if there's an actual feet from that. I don't think that there's a real answer to that. I know people that have kind of like an aviary setting, and they have the chickens in the aviary, and they have quail in hutches above the chickens, so the chickens can scratch through the quail poop, but the quail can't get to the chickens. That works fine. I know people that have a garage or a barn, and the left side of the barn is quail, and then there's a door and a hallway, and then the right side is chickens, and that is okay. So as long as they're not touching or they can cross each other, I think you're good to go. But I don't know for sure. I've never put anything with the quail because it freaks me out personally. But a lot of people have great success with it. Little Ridge Farm says, thoughts on Brincy incubators. I haven't heard anything bad about them. I have no information on them at all. I don't know anything about them. Down the road, we'll get one and we'll try it out for everybody. But right now, I can only go by what I've seen, and I've heard a lot of people that really like them. So there you go. What is your flightiest breed looking to use them for dog training? Well, flightiest is really going to be more of an environmental situation than it is a genetic situation or a color situation. Now, with that being said, if you're using them for dog training and things like that, typically you want to go with Tibetans, Scarlets, or Rosettas, or non-jumbo wilds, standard size wilds. Those for all of our dog trainers and things like that really, really enjoy those colors. They kind of blend in. They're more neutral. And they're not a big fan of all the fancy colors because they stand out a lot more. And they really don't want them to do that because they want to do the sniff test instead of the eyesight test kind of thing. So typically Tibetans, Rosettas, Scarlets, or wilds. And out of those, Tibetans are pretty much what they really like. They really like the Tibetans. With quail, will quail stop laying if a quail passes away in their cage? No. No, you leave it in there too long and they'll be carnivorous, but no, they won't stop laying unless it was a violent death because of a predator. Then they will. But no, if one just dies of old age or prolapse or something like that, they won't stop laying. Michael Perry says, good evening, y'all. Put my first batch in lockdown tonight. Ordered 50 from Southwest Game Bird, received 60. Only 32 made it to lockdown. 11 out of 32 were iffy on if they were developed fully. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you're wrong, and hopefully they get a much better hatch rate for you. Definitely contact them. I don't know what their policy is. I have no idea. But contact them, let them know, and hopefully they'll be able to help you out. And yeah, unfortunately, I mean, there's a lot of factors. I mean, we are, I think, I'm pretty sure it's 6% lower average this year than we were last year at this time, but the weather's been a little bit crazier and the post office has really let me down. The good news is in the past week and a half, our hatch rates have literally increased by like 15% from what they were. So, I mean, like, not a full 15% from the beginning of the year, but you know what I mean. So our hatch rate is increasing dramatically now. The post office they're always going to have an issue here or there, but for the most part, they're getting things there on time, safe, undamaged, and the weather's starting to cooperate as well. So hopefully, hopefully that's the case. Definitely check your incubator, make sure your temp and humidity is correct, and best of luck to you. Hopefully, candling can be a little iffy. So hopefully you candled wrong. Hopefully that'd be great, right? That'd be a good problem to have. I'm leaving lights on 24/7. Should I put on a timer? I think it's a personal preference. I don't like them on 24/7. Now, George likes 24/7. He says it doesn't harm anything. I think it does. We're in disagreements about that. And he was like, well, let's just do the test. And I said, nope, don't want to do the test because I don't feel like that's right. So I won't even do the test on it. So he keeps saying it's because I know I'm wrong, which it's not. But yeah, he leaves 24/7 on his chickens and they produce just fine. They need their downtime, in my opinion. So I prefer timers, but I know a lot of people that do the lights 24/7 and they don't have any issues. I do remember that we did a quick test when we actually moved down to the barn, and we did notice that production really doesn't change that much, except they don't lay as long. So you're decreasing their lifespan. I can't remember by how much. I'd have to go back and look at those notes. But I prefer timers, is what I prefer. Marigold says, how do you preserve quail for raw feeding dogs? Freeze whole? Yep, you freeze whole. Do dogs have any trouble eating them whole with feathers and feet and all? No, nope, not at all. We've got a pretty large account for a raw dog feed. And no, we bloodless call them like in our video. If you want to see how to do that, you can just type in bloodless call by Myshire. It'll show you how to kill them real quick and fast and very humane. And then you just put them in a freezer bag and you're good to go until you're ready to thaw it out. What is a good way to tell fees from regular ones like Egyptian? Everything's a little bit different. Honestly, in my opinion, the easiest way, what do you ask? What did you ask? What is a good way to tell fees? Okay. The easiest way, for me anyway, is to look at their chest. If they carry fee, you're going to see it on the chest. The back feathers, it can be a little tricky. With most colors, it's not. I mean, with most colors, you can kind of tell. If they're black, white, or gray, no, nope. Don't listen to that. That was incorrect. Usually you can tell by the feathers on their chest would be the easiest way to do it. Like Egyptian fees. Some of the Egyptian fees can look very similar to an Egyptian, but that feather chest is completely different. The Egyptian feather chest is very much like a wild with no discoloration, but the Egyptian fee is completely white. Is just one example. Some of the fab fees that are kind of brown but not brown, and it's like, what are you? You can look at the chest, and if it's white at all, it's got that fee gene. It just didn't show up all the way. So that's my opinion on it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that disagree with that. My 96 eggs are pipping, and the humidity is in the incubator is 76%. Should I try to lower it somehow or let them ride? Let them ride. You'll be fine. Yep, absolutely. Hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it. If we could get 5 more likes, that would be pretty cool. I'd appreciate that. What breeder has the biggest jumbo quail? I don't know. Ours are 12 ounces at 8 weeks old, on average around 14 ounces at 10 weeks old, but we don't want to get any bigger than that. That is a healthy weight, so we're not just looking for the biggest quail. We're looking for the biggest, most productive, healthy quail that you can have. Let me explain that real quick because we do have a lot of new people on here. And again, hit the like button and support the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. But okay, so back in the day when I started, it was bigger, bigger, bigger. Bigger's better. Bigger's better. And we got some really big quail, and that was awesome until we saw, hey, they're not really as productive, are they? And their legs don't seem like they can support the weight as much. And wow, those did not last very long. Like those did not last 2 years. They didn't even last a year and 6 months. So we started looking at it and we started researching and we started writing our information down. And in my opinion, a very good size with quail is 14 ounces at full maturity. Their legs can support the weight. They are still very productive and their lifespan is not altered. Once you get a little above that, you're still okay. You're all right. But once you start trying to do like a 16-ounce quail, oh, that's the other thing you're going to see is 1 pound quail. There's some out there. I agree. I've had some. I just don't breed for that anymore. You could look into it. I don't really like to talk about other, if someone has bred them to 16 ounces and they're healthy, great, good. I'm not, but for the most part, most times, really big quail doesn't necessarily mean healthy quail, and that's the reason why. So I don't know who has the largest. I'm very happy with our weight, and I just want it to stay consistent. I'm not trying to increase them at all. I am going to increase the Egyptians this year and the sex links. I am going to increase those, but I'm not going to increase the wilds at all. I'm very happy with them, and I can't get any larger without starting to have production or health issues. And I can't increase their egg size anymore either, or I won't be able to fit them in the foamers. So it's a great question, and that's my thoughts on it, but that's just my personal thoughts. So you can take it or leave it. Yeah, I don't know. They said in the beginning we'd see what kind of hatch rate I'd get and go from there. There you go. Well, best of luck to you. And I'm still hoping that you just candled wrong. That'd be great. I'd love for you to be like, hey, I learned how to candle and I got a great hatch rate. So best of luck. I hate that that's going on. I'm sorry. 8 weeks to full grown quail is the new chicken. Absolutely. How long do I feed the high protein feed to my jumbo Egyptians when they hatch? I recommend you do it for 10 weeks. The beginning of week 10 is when you'll transition them from a starter grower to a layer feed, and that will give you best results. Now, they will start laying before then, and you could get some soft shell eggs and things like that, and that's okay. If you're wanting them to get to maximum size, you need to keep them on the starter grower until the beginning of week 10 and still give them that starter grower for that whole week, but you're mixing the layer and the starter grower together. Whew, I've got major issues with my eye tonight. Sorry. Blobbert is in the house. What age should you start transitioning from chick feed to adult layer? And what's the earliest age you can reliably vent sex? Very good questions, to be honest. So I just answered that with the jumbos. So the beginning of week 10 to the end of week 10 is when you transition for jumbos. For standards, I do 8 weeks. So the beginning of 8 week to the end of the 8th week is when I transition the standard. So it really depends on which ones you have. And what's the earliest age? Here's a quick story. When I okay, so Jenna ran the business for quite a while before I got involved because I was working full-time somewhere else. I would go out there on my days off and do the poop for the week and do this, but I wasn't there every day. And when I started getting more and more involved, and then we decided to make this plan where I could stay home, then I started taking over full time. And she said, I'm taking a break, so it's all yours. And I said, okay. And then I would hatch out quail, and then I'd be vent sexing at 6 weeks old, and I would get so frustrated. I mean, so frustrated. And I would call her, and she'd come down. She'd just go, it's a hen. It's a boy. It's a hen. It's a boy. And I'm like, how? I can't tell. So I decided instead of getting frustrated that I would vent sex them at 8 weeks old because I could tell then. And then now I can pretty much vent sex at about 5.5 to 6 weeks old very easily. And so it really depends on how much experience you have. is the answer to that question. So if you don't have a lot of experience, I would say 7.5 to 8 weeks is okay. Nothing wrong with that. And then you can just build yourself with more experience to move back to about that 6-week mark. But you can, if you know what you're looking for and you're experienced doing it, you can easily vent sex them at 6 weeks old. Started to mix layer pellets with grower crumbles today. They pick out the crumble and leave the pellets. Any thoughts? Well, it's a new feed, so it's hard to say for the first couple of days. It's new to them, so they really don't like change at all. We used to feed pellets years. We used to feed pellets, and they did fine. It's less waste than crumble, but I think that they do better on a crumble than a pellet, so we got rid of that. But yeah, it would be hard to say. Just because it's a transition, you'd have to do it for about another week to decide whether they still would need it or not. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. I have 14 of your pearls and 3 others that are 4 weeks old. If I incubate eggs from this group, who do these chicks get bred to, the original group or to each other? Okay. If I incubate eggs from this group, who do these chicks get bred to, the original group or to each other? You could do either one. It's not a big deal. Either way you go, it's about 3 generations. I prefer to do each other. I prefer to do siblings, and I would rather do siblings than mom and dad. But that's not always, I mean, we don't always do that either. We have multiple different ways on how we do it. So I would just pick one. And either way, you got it for about 3 generations, 3 years, whatever the case may be. And you should be good to go. Dino Quail, I got him, LOL. There you go. There you go. Yeah, and I'm not, again, look, I am telling you right now, I am not very aware of what other people are doing. I don't know what they sell. I don't know their prices. I don't know what their guarantees are. I just don't. I stay in my little bubble. Like, I can barely keep up with what I got. I don't have time to go looking around. Now, when I do, I think it's important that you kind of see what everybody else is doing. So I'm not disagreeing with that. I think that's important. I just haven't gotten to it for quite some time now, so I really don't know. But every year around this time, the whole dino quail, giant quail, massive jumbo will be a thing. A lot of people are going to be using the word rare. That's a big thing. There's going to be a lot of people that just do your research. I mean, I'd love for you to buy from us, but I get that you don't want to wait. I'm okay with that. I understand. Just I don't want to see. I'm starting to see the people contact me and go, I should have waited for you. I got screwed. And I go, I'm sorry. So you got to make up your mind, and that's okay. Just try to look at the company before you decide. That's all I'm saying. And I think you should do that even with me. I don't think that you should just take my word for it. Now, I'm trying to help, but I think that you should. I think you should look at the reviews on Facebook and Google reviews or whatever the case may be, and say, okay, well, I had a good feeling and a bunch of these reviews are great, so okay, I'm good. But I don't think that's a bad idea either, to be honest with you. And if you want to give me a review, I don't push that enough. I really should. I just don't. I hear you contact me personally, and that's enough for me. But then I go, oh yeah, no one else knows what they said. So sometimes I follow up to my medicated feed question is, if it's natural medication, do I still need to wait 2 weeks or no? Nope, you should be good to go. when we have eggs back. Wednesday is when I'll be putting a lot of the colors back on the website, a lot of the mixes, the feather sexpol mix, this, that, and the other. A lot of those will be going on the website Wednesday night. As soon as I get done, when I come inside from the barn that night, I'll get on the computer and update all of that. Jumbos are still going to be about 3 weeks out. Oh, I was retracted. Go Big says, any news on AI locations? Yeah, it's spreading even more. It's in a lot of places. It's not in Ohio yet, but it is in Pennsylvania. It is in Kentucky. It is in Tennessee. I don't think it's in Indiana yet, but I could be wrong on that. So it's surrounding us, and yeah, I've just completely closed down the farm. So there's no farm pickups, there's no tours, there's no nothing right now. And we've put all of our ducks and geese and peacocks up, so they're not even on the pond, because I don't want them to get it, or I don't want them to get it, and then they, crap in the yard, and then I step in it and then take it. Like I don't want anything to do with it. So we went full force on this whole biosecurity thing. Do you eat the liver, heart, or gizzard? No, I don't. Dennis does. Papa the Builder does, but it's not for me. I don't enjoy it. But a lot of people do, and they say it tastes great. I can't get past the thought of it. Yeah, absolutely. Hit the like button, support the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for that support. Kyle says, how long to recover from? That's a great question, and that will be answered at Quail Con by the experts. I don't know the answer to that. I don't have experience with that, and that's not something that I'm too sad about saying. But I don't know what the right answer to that is. I'm sure it'd be fairly easy to find out, and did I write that down? Yes, I did. I did mark it to go up the list. I am going to do a video, so I have the ability to talk to some very much more knowledgeable people when it comes to diseases and things like that. And so I'm actually going to do a video on issues with quail, and it's going to be a two-parter. One is going to be a lot of environmental issues or incubator issues. It's going to be, intestines were hatched outside the body, or splay leg, or crossbeak, or which crossbeak is usually genetic, not always. And this, that, and the other. But then we're also going to talk about diseases that quail can get and how you would treat and how long it would take and things like that. So I just need to make that phone call, set up a scheduled time to do the interview, get all the questions in order, ask them, write it down, and then pretty much regurgitate it back to you. It's pretty much what I need to do. Unless they'll do the video, which I'll start with. Hey, can you do this video? How much does it reduce long-term production keeping the hens laying year-round? I did not understand it. Let me read it again. How much does it reduce long-term production keeping the hens laying year-round? Okay, so I would actually have to look at the notes for that specific answer. But I can tell you that we leave our lights on 16 hours a day, 365 days a year. So they are productive at all times. And they still, on average, lay between 1 year and 9 months to 2 years and 3 months. If I had to guess, it's going to add an extra like 3 or 4 months, I do believe is what it was. If you take seasons off or whatever, but not a lot. I think you still get more production. You still get more production by doing the lights than not the lights, and more consistently. But I would actually have to look at my notes for that. John Hicks says, this week I had one baby hatch with splay leg. I used a first aid bandage to keep legs closed. Is there a better alternative? Chicks seem to be fine. No, that works just fine. You can also do a rubber band. You can do a shot glass for a short amount of time, but the rubber or the Band-Aid works just as well, so that would be fine. Question, do I need outside air ventilation for my homemade incubator made from a small refrigerator? So how do I control it? Do I need outside air ventilation? We do not have outside air ventilation. No. I mean, I guess you could, but we don't. When we have Jumbo Wilds back in stock? About Wilds? About 4 weeks. Hey Zach and everyone, I contacted you already about one of my hens having a protruding vent and it's bloody. She has been on a layer feed for a week now. Should I call her? Yeah, if the prolapse does not fix itself within about 24 hours, you can push back in there. But typically, if you do have to push back in there, typically it's going to happen again shortly after. So typically, if they prolapse, they usually can fix themselves within a couple of hours. But if they don't, then typically you need to call. Because even if you have to help it, it's going to happen again, unfortunately. Hi, Tina from Wisconsin. How do I price my quail meat birds, live birds, and eggs? I don't like giving prices out as far as what I would recommend you do. I think everybody's very different. Locations are different. You know, for example, I sell balutes for 50 cents an egg. However, they have to buy in bulk with me. I know someone that is far east in the States, and they sell them for 80 cents to $1 an egg, depending on what they do now. And there's no way I could get that here. But then I also know someone that's down south, I believe Tennessee. No, I don't remember. I never remember where he's from. I apologize if you're watching. And they only get 30 cents a balut. So the range for balutes could be 30 cents, 50 cents, or $1, or anywhere in between. So it's really hard to say because it's just different location. So I would do your research. I would market fair. I would definitely make a profit. And I would see what else is available in the area. I can tell you that, in my opinion, the prices that we have on our website is universal, I would say. I would say they're I would say that they're universal. So whether you're buying in I don't know, Kentucky, or you're buying in Washington, or you're buying in San Francisco, California, or you're buying in New York, or you're buying in Florida, or anywhere else, my prices are very affordable and fair. But with that, I don't want you to undercut yourself if you're in a different location. So I would do a little bit of market research with that, unfortunately. I can't give you an answer. Water. For new hatchlings, I have the quart style with red dish for chickens. Should I put marbles in the water to keep? Yep, that is a good, that's a best practice to do for sure. Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you very much. I'll do a video on that. Quail best practice. Thank you very much. It's a great idea. Yeah, that would be a good practice to do, and then you won't lose any because they do like to scuba dive, and they don't know how. So, yeah, that's a great idea. Good job. Bars Farm says, good evening. We just received 2 of 3 of the boxes from my Nola Ranch quail cages. 1 not arrived. The 2 we got were crushed. It came through UPS, so disappointed dealing with claims now. That's the first time I think I've heard about that, unfortunately. Yeah, contact Wynola Ranch. They'll make sure you're taken care of. Don't stress out. Don't worry about it. It's frustrating and time consuming, but they'll get you taken care of. I've no doubt. My hygrometer will read 99.5 as long as Nurturite 360 is at 100.5 to 100.1. Is hygrometer correct, or do I turn the incubator to 9? No. No, I had the same thing. I had to set mine at, I think mine was only a half a degree off. I had to set mine at 100 degrees for it to read 99.5. So yeah, I'm telling you, whether you believe me or not, incubators lie. So trust the Govee, you'll be fine. And I've seen people tell me that the Nurturite 360, they've had to put at 103 degrees to get the Govee to read 99.5. So every one of them is different. But yeah, I would put your Nurturite at 100.5 to read correctly at 99.5 with the Govee. How long does Quail Con 22 last, and is there a site we can go to get all the information and payment arrangements? What are the meals, or is there only one day or time to dine? Yeah, all the Quail Con information is on our website, myshirefarm.com. There's a little tab that says QuailCon 2022. There's a video attached to the QuailCon that goes in through all the information, the speakers, times, dates, things like that. And then there's also a written form as well. And so yeah, it's going to be great. It's a 2-day event. It's going to be September 3rd and 4th, which is Saturday and Sunday, September 3rd and 4th, right before Memorial Day, or oh gosh, pretty sure it's probably not. I always get confused on holidays. And it's Labor Day, right? It's Labor Day, right before Labor Day. God, I really have to remember that if I'm going to keep saying it out loud. It's September 3rd and 4th. I know that. I can guarantee that. And the meal that you can purchase will be Saturday night at, I believe, 6, but I could be wrong on that. It'll say on the website. And then we'll also have food trucks here all day on Sunday, and we'll have a food truck on Saturday if you don't want to dine with us or want to dine earlier or whatever the case may be. How often do you see wryneck? I haven't seen wryneck for... I don't think I've seen wryneck since we moved down to the barn. I don't think I have. Wryneck is well, wryneck is an incubator issue. Wryneck is they develop too fully in the egg. Their neck gets formed like that, and so it's curved when it comes out. So yeah, just make sure that usually it's a humidity issue is why that happens, just so you know. What's the benefits of using vinegar and water? What ratio water to vinegar, and is apple cider or white vinegar better? I don't use either one. I'm not saying it's not a bad idea. It's a good idea. I just don't use it. I use the Save-A-Chick electrolytes instead. And so I do not know the ratio that you need. I just like the little packets that come in. They're all natural vitamins. I open up the packet, I put it in the water, and then I'm done. So it's just easier for me, and it's pretty cheap. So I don't have the answer to that, unfortunately. Speaking of reviews, how do we give you a review? Well, you can do a review on Facebook, on our Facebook page. You could do a review, and I just learned this. Look at me learning stuff. You can do a review on our actual website. So like if you ordered, I don't know, if you ordered Jumbo Wilds and you finally got them from me, and you had a good hatch rate and they're big and nice and producing big eggs or whatever, you can actually go on to our website and write a review under what you purchased. So you can do that. Google reviews are really cool. I just never have really focused on it very much. One day I will, but not right now. But yeah, what are the overly large quail he was talking about? Never heard of these before. I don't know. Oh, the gigant, what was it? The giant quail? Giant quail are just jumbo quail. It's just, my opinion, if you're going to rename it giant quail, I don't even know if you have jumbo quail. Like, why are you using that word? So, my 5 hens are a little beat up from the male. I separated them out a week or two. Can I fill a 2-gallon water bucket with the rooster booster treatment for a week? Is that too long? Why would, I guess why are you wanting to use Rooster Booster? Yeah, I I would need to know why you want to use the Rooster Booster. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. We've used it before. I'm assuming if you maybe you want to use Rooster Booster to try to get your hens to heal. If that's the case, I wouldn't use that. I would use the electrolytes, the Save a Chick electrolytes, which is in our Amazon store. They're fairly cheap. I think I saw emus on your farm. Can they get AI? They can. A little trickier with, I mean, they can, but they're not anywhere near the pond, which means they're really not going to get anywhere close to any Canadian geese that just want to hang out for the day. And they're a little scary, so usually animals don't get around them. So they're pretty isolated. Tracked Myshire for weeks before purchasing eggs. Every company seems sketchy at first, even Zach, till you get to know them. Thank you, maybe. Thank you, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Guys, I'm looking at the hens and I don't see the one with prolapsed vent. It's been 5 hens and I believe all have laid today except one. I will monitor this over the next week. Oh, well, maybe she fixed it. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Are the kids that signed up for the drawing in November still in, or should they re-enter? My son entered, but has also changed his YouTube name since then. There's no reason why you can't. Yeah, I'd update it. Sure, update it. Have you ever thought about having a sister location that will help a pure line of your originals? No, I don't want to do that. No. I have trust issues. So I don't want to go into. I'll offend people. I don't want to go into that. I don't. No, I don't want to do that. I try to be as transparent as possible. Some people like it, some people don't, but I am transparent. So you might not like what I do, but this is what I do and I'm trying to share it with you. I would have major issues doing that with somewhere where I'm not there. Could be control issues. I'm fully aware that I might have that problem. But I am very particular. I want things done the way I think that they need to be done. And it works for me. I don't think that would work if I just wouldn't feel comfortable doing it. And plus, this is my farm. You know, this is my business. This is a lot of people say that we're like a commercial farm and we're this and we're that. We're not. This is me, my wife, and George, which lives on the farm. It would completely. Here's a good way. Okay. I was trying to think of a way to say it without hurting anybody's feelings or offending people or get people getting mad. And I don't mean it in any way like that at all. I think there's good breeders out there. This is the way I'll say it. That is not that's not a goal for me. But my goal has never been to make as much money as possible. Financially, that would make sense. I could rent the name out for a couple different farms every year. Sure, that would make sense. But I feel like the quality could possibly decrease in some of those situations. I think that we could all want to do things differently, and now we've got the Myshire name doing different things. But when it comes all down to it, listen, I am doing this because I really have a passion and a desire to get the word out there about quail and try to give you the best possible quality that I can give you. And I'm trying to start something here. I'm trying to start a trend that businesses don't have to all be automated voicemails and automated messages, and you can't get a hold of anybody, and this, that, and the other. Like, you can still be successful and you can still be big, but you can still be personable. You can still be there for them. You know what I mean? And so I have no desire to do that. And I don't think I ever will. It's just not in my business plan. It's just not in my mission statement. My mission statement is to educate, encourage, and enthuse others. And hopefully, if I do that correctly, I'll be able to stay in business and support my family. An ideal 25, 30 years from now, I'll be willing to give up the reins and my kids will take it over. And if my kids don't take it over, then I'll shut it down. I mean, this is our farm. This is where it's at. No one works here unless they live here, and that's how it'll be. I've gotten a lot of slack on that from people saying, just hire more help. Well, first of all, if I hire more help, I have to raise the prices because I have to pay for that help, right? So that's one issue. But the other issue is if I hire help, it's outside help. And there's a lot of great people out there. All of you are great, okay? But this is my family business. So that's just, I hope that makes sense. Probably answered that way too long. I probably just said, no, I didn't think about it. But I didn't. I didn't think about that. Sorry. What are the best lights to use? We are so far north and in the river valley, and I need supplemental light. Don't stress. Any light will do. LED lights are great. Daylight. I like the daylight lights. Christmas lights will work. I mean, not the blinky ones, but just traditional Christmas lights. A lot of people have those on their outside hutches, and they work great. So yeah, don't stress. It's just the light that they need. Doesn't matter what kind. That's a great question. Labor Day. I knew it. I get so confused. What is your opinion on the IncuView incubators? I don't have an opinion right now because I don't have any experience with them. But I do believe... Wow, I need to oil this chair. No, I guess it's not. I will put that on my incubator list. IncuView. I've got the Little Dome, the Farm Innovator, the Ovation 56E, which I believe is Brintzia, and the IncuView. IncuView. Is that what you call it? I am very illiterate when it comes to store-bought incubators, just because the only experience that I've had with them is me doing these videos for you guys. So I think that the more I can learn about the store-bought incubators, the better I can support and help you. And I think that the videos might help you decide what to start with or what to move to or whatever. So I'm very, very excited about doing these. There's been a lot of stuff going on, but I am getting back to them. Plus I deleted a very long video. My quail got a twisted leg. How did it do that? Oh, I don't. Got stuck. I mean, they're Houdinis, so most likely it got stuck in the wire or slit in the feeder, or I mean, it could be a lot of different things. That's pretty impossible for me to say. Do you raise sheep? I do not. I've always wanted sheep. And then Jenna says, well, it's not as simple as it sounds as far as shearing, because I've always wanted to shear a sheep. And she's like, okay, we'll find someone with sheep, and then you can shear one, and then you can decide if you want them. And I said, fine, and I just never have yet. I went King Kong quail. There was a Godzilla is what it was. Someone 2 years ago, around this time, was selling the Godzilla quail, and they were claiming that they were 19 ounces at full maturity, and they took people for a whole lot of money. So just be careful. I was just playing around. Yeah, no, I just want people to understand that. It's not that there's not good breeders out there. And I think that there are. I just think that this is my farm. This is my Shire. You know what I mean? So I want it to be family. I want it to be family owned and operated. It's very important for me to be able to pass something down to my kids. And if they want to franchise it out, they will do it when I'm dead. But they can do that because I'll give them the business. But until then, it's going to be right here. Zach's goal is for Quail to take over the world, so if you want to join in, come along and help us all out. Team meeting, Labor Day meeting at Myshire. There you go, Whiskey Tango Farms. And Whiskey Tango Farms, I consider a great breeder. And I think that they do great. I just think that we do a lot of things similar, to be honest, Whiskey Tango Farms and Myshire Farm. We do a lot of things similar. We might do a couple things differently. Our cage setup's a little different. But I think we're both here to try to help people in this, that, and the other. And they're Whiskey Tango Farms. And they're a family-owned and operated quail business, right? And I'm Myshire Farm. And I am a family-owned and operated quail farm. And that's how I like it. I want it to stay that way. Are you planning on doing a live chat with Katernik's Corner anytime soon? I've not been asked since a long time ago. I don't see it happening anytime soon, but maybe. You never know. Iron Man Concrete says, hey, you need to get a sweaters made saying, I work to support my quail addiction. I hear what you're saying. We're working on some things. Believe you me, we're working on some things. Corey says, thank you, Zach, for being so helpful and responding. I have my eggs. Wonderful. Love to hear that. Thank you very much for letting me know. Will says, just wondering about the whiteboard things to do list on the wall behind you. Are you creating a zombie game? That is my son that promised me that he would erase it. So he's very big in coding, and that's great. I support it 100%. I actually take him to a class twice a week to learn how to code more, and he's doing Java, and I don't know, I don't speak the lingo. But I support him 100%, and I will listen to him for a long time. All I hear is, blah, 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 and I'm like, cool. And hopefully he understands a whole lot more than I do. But yeah, he's creating a zombie game. 2 different zombies, one normal, one fast. I don't know. Hey, if he enjoys it and he's great at it, then maybe he can start doing my website. Can you do a review on the Hatching Time CT60 incubator? That would be fine, but I thought that the Hatching Time CT60 incubator was a cabinet incubator for like $1,000. I don't think I'm willing to, I can't do that. I can't do it for just a review for you guys. It's gonna hurt my soul a little bit to do the Brincia. You know, it's still gonna be a couple $100, but I do think that would be a good video. But if I'm wrong, if it's a decent price, then I would be happy to do it for you. So if you can let me know what that price is, or I guess I could look it up. I'll write it down and see if it could be in the budget. I just Hatching Time. Crap, I lost it. CT60. CT60. I'll check it out for sure. Yes, the Brincia 56 is what I've been looking into. Ovation 56EX. Yep, that's what is on my to-do list to check out. Why are you so close-minded to different variables that affect the incubating and growth of quail by dismissing any diverging opinions that don't coincide with yours? Open your mind. I don't know if you're talking to me or not. Yeah, I feel I don't know if you're talking to me. If you are talking to me, I feel like I've said a lot that you can raise quail however you want. There's many different ways to raise quail. I haven't seen a difference between the red lights and the non-red lights as far as the brooder goes. And like I said, the Gigantor incubator that we actually use now has a light on the inside of it that we leave on 100% of the time because I just think it looks cool. But the GQF has no light in it, and I get the same hatch rate. most incubators don't come with lights. In fact, I don't know of any incubator, like store-bought incubators that you buy, that has a light on the inside of it. So, but I don't see any difference in a light on the inside affecting the hatch rate at all. But can Rhinex show up at 3 weeks? You know, it's not likely, but yes, and that could be a deficiency, a vitamin deficiency of some sort. It's pretty rare. In fact, I've only heard of one person getting it before, and I do believe that it was in more of an aviary setting. But yeah, it is. I guess it is possible, but I have only heard of it happening once. If they haven't, uh, if they haven't been born with it. Sorry, I got a text and I was trying to read it and then it went away. Everyone buys and treats their cars different, just like people buy and raise quail different. Absolutely, I agree 100%. I'm not good at sexing my quail at this point. They are approaching 4 weeks. What is the best way to sort them out before they become aggressive? Well, if they're feather sexable, give it about a half a week, and you'll be able to tell pretty clearly male from female from the chest. If they're not, and you're not comfortable vinsexing, just keep them together until about 7 weeks old. It's a learning lesson. They will not get great. I mean, the best practice is to separate them as soon as possible, but you got to go at your own pace too. I mean, we didn't do that at the beginning. It works for us now, but there's no way we could have done that at the beginning. Oh, thank you very much. I forget who asked that, but it looks like you just texted me. Jose, I believe it was you. Thank you very much for texting me that. So yeah, I mean, go at your own pace. Again, there's many different ways to do it. It's not a big deal at all. There's best practices, but if we're not at that point, then you can't do a best practice. You know what I mean? Yeah. Here's advice that I could give you, if I could give it to you, if you would listen. Go at your own pace and don't get frustrated. Don't overthink it. Quail, honestly, at the end of the day, are super easy to take care of. Now, are you going to lose one or two because maybe you could have prevented it? Yeah, it's going to happen. It's not the end of the world, right? We can get new ones pretty quickly. They produce pretty quickly, and you can hatch them out pretty quickly, and they grow pretty quickly. So yeah, don't overthink about it. Just look at it as a learning lesson and say, okay, well, I'm still not 100% comfortable on it. We do have some videos about how to feather sex, if that helps. But somebody asked earlier about the vinsexing at 6 weeks old. If you're just starting, you're just not there yet, and that's okay. That's okay. So, start at 8 weeks and build yourself down. Now, the best practice is to vinsex at 6 weeks and separate them then. But if you're not there, it's not a big deal. Neither was I. Neither is thousands of other people that are just starting with quail. So you're not alone. Sorry, no one probably cared about that at all. Have you ever thought about putting dimmer lighting on your brooder lights? Mine is working out very well so far. No, I don't think that's not a bad. That's not a bad idea. I was gonna say it wrong, and you'd be like, seriously? No, that's not a bad idea. The way I do it works for me, but I think that's a good idea, and I think you should post that on Facebook and things like that. I think people would be interested to see how you do it, and I think that's another way that you can raise quail that works out great. Okay, you just gave me the name for my quail biz, Zombie Quail. There you go. There you go. Can you tell the difference between male and female eggs, pointed versus round? God, if you could, I would be. I'd make so much money, but no, it's not possible. You can't do it. I wish you could. I wish you could. That'd be fantastic. But no, that's just a myth. Show. Wait. Oh, because you put sex in it. I have a mixture. Tried to vent sex without success. Well, they're only 4 weeks old, so I can't even vent sex that young. I'd love to. That would help me a lot, but I can't. So yeah, I can't do that either. 6 weeks is the minimum on when you can start. And if you're just not familiar with it, really don't get frustrated. Go to that 7.5 week mark, look at them and go, oh, I can definitely tell now. Okay. And then kind of work yourself down. And once you do, I don't know, 30, 40 of them, and you start, vent sexing them at 7 weeks old, then after 30 or 40 of them that you do, you go, oh, I can do this at 6 weeks now. Because you got to feel for it. And that's what you got to have first. Date on the 18 and under raffle. It's the first Sunday of the month right here on our YouTube channel on our Sunday lives. I think it's maybe the 5th, March 5th. I could be wrong on that. First Sunday of the month. Hey Zach, today was day 2 for my quail eggs I ordered off you. I only got 13 out of 50. I don't know what day you're on. Yeah, I can't decipher that. I would assume day 20 maybe. It's not great. I would definitely check your incubator. Day 21. They shouldn't be in there that long at all. Okay, well, message me and we'll get you refunded and taken care of. I would definitely check your incubator and make sure that it's reading correctly. I like the Govee, but any thermometer, hygrometer that you trust would do. It could have been weather, it could have been shipping. 13 out of 50 sure sounds to me like it's a humidity thing. But again, they could have been delayed in shipping for 2 weeks and I don't know that yet. So it's hard to say. Yeah, just reach out to me. My phone number is on the website and we'll get you refunded. Typically, before everybody leaves, sorry. If you order eggs from us and you're on, let's say, the morning of day 18 and your hatch isn't going very well, please contact me then because I can help you. But when we get to about day 21, even if I can help them to get hatched, they're going to be weak and deformed and there's not much I can do. But I can help you late day 17, early day 18. I can help you get a pretty good hatch if we can control it. There's some things that are out of our control. If they froze during shipping or if the box was really damaged or whatever the case may be. But if we can get them to hatch, I can help with that. But I need to know around late 17, day 18. So keep that in mind as well. But Hobby Farm, obviously, reach out to me. We'll make sure you get taken care of. And you can take a look at those, so maybe that could be a fix later on. Did I miss a question? I guess not. Okay, that is all the questions for tonight. I guess that was not very rapid fire. I apologize, but there was a ton of questions, so I thank you all for doing that. We got 143 likes tonight and a $5 donation to Quail Con. So thank you very, very much for all of that. I do have a couple really good videos coming your way. I will be uploading my first video as soon as we get off here. It won't be posted till tomorrow, but my internet's awful, so it'll take me some time to get there. But I'll be posting the first one tomorrow and we'll get you taken care of. So thank you all for showing up. I really appreciate it. And have a great week, everybody. Stay safe and we will see you next week.